In this video, we will create a self-grading quiz using Google Forms and an add-on called Flubaroo. When I create a new form, I'm directed to choose a title and a theme. The title of this form will be Google Quiz. I'm also going to choose my theme from one of those selected below. I'm going to go with the default theme. The reason I'm going to use the default theme is that I'm going to embed this into another website, and the default theme gives me the most options to let it blend in. For most of the forms that you create, you will not want to require the organization login to view the form. Our first question will just be to collect some of the quiz taker's information. So I'm going to ask for their last name as the question title, and I'm going to make this a text field. I am going to check the box as a required question because I do want to require this. I'll add a new item as a text box, and I'm going to make this a first name. And again, I'm going to keep this as a text field and make it a required question. Another piece that I'm going to collect is going to be an email. Again, it's a text question type. I'm going to add some help text here to please enter a valid email. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the advanced settings. I'm going to use the advanced settings for the data validation tool. I'm going to select text and for contains an email address. The reason I'm going to do this is because I want the information that the user puts into this field to actually be a valid email address. I can also type an error text. This will be a required question as well. My first question for my quiz is going to be, what was the original name for the Google project? In case you didn't know, Google was originally called Backrub. This will be a text field, which means the user will have to enter the exact text for the name. That includes perfect spelling as well. This is going to be a required question. My second question for the quiz is going to be, which colors are found in the Google logo? For this question, I'm going to choose the question type as checkboxes because I want users to check all the boxes that apply, and I'm going to include that in the help text. And I'll enter any of their colors. I'll start with my primary colors, and go on to secondary. For the checkboxes, you can also add another field. In advanced settings, you can shuffle the order or do data validation. I'm not going to do either of these options right now. This will, however, be a required question. My second question will be, in which month did Google register the domain name? So when did they get google.com? For this question type, I'm going to have users choose from a list. And this will be a drop-down menu where users will select one piece of information. In this case, I have a list of the months. And I'm going to select this from a different website that I've found. I can select the months. I can copy. Go back to my quiz. And paste. Notice how it will automatically enter all the information for you with each month as a separate field. You may also notice that you can go to a particular page based on the answer. We won't use that feature for this quiz. You can also, in advanced settings, shuffle the option order, and we will not take part of that feature yet either. This will, however, be a required question, so we'll check that box. My next question will be a multiple choice type of question, and I'm going to ask, how did the idea for Google start? Did it start as a science fair project? a thesis? Did it start from a bet? Or did it start right out of boredom? For multiple choice questions, I can also go to a particular page based on the answer, and I can have another category, but I won't take any part in either of those features for this. In the advanced settings, however, I will shuffle the option order. So when users take this quiz, these options will be shuffled around. This will also be a required question, so I'll check that box. I've completed all the questions for my quiz, but let's take a look at some of the other question types that you can use. You can have paragraph text for essay type of answers. You could have them mark on a scale from 1 to 5 or whichever scale you want. A grid, date, time. You can also change the layout of your pages. You can include a section header. You can have multiple pages. You can include an image or videos from YouTube. We can also include a special message in the confirmation page. This is the page that will come up after the user finishes the quiz. And we will say, "Congratulations, you have finished the Google quiz." In the checkboxes below, we can show on the confirmation page, we could have a link to submit another response. If you want your users to be able to take the quiz multiple times easily, you would want this to be checked. You can publish and show the results from all the respondents that have answered so far. You can also allow them to go back and edit their response. For ours, we will keep only show link to submit another response in case we want to have someone else have fun with our quiz. You'll see the Send Form button at the top or bottom. When we click that, it'll give us the link to share, or you can send directly through email. I recommend actually never sending through email because we don't know what type of email client the other person is using, and always just copy and paste the link into an email. If you wanted to add collaborators, you could. What this would do is allow others to edit the questions with you. The other spot where you can find your URL is you can go to View Live Form. This will show you what your quiz looks like. The URL at the very top in the address bar of your internet browser will also have that link. Since our quiz is finished, let's go ahead and make the key for our quiz. To do this, all we will do is put the word key in the student identifying information. So key for last name, key for first name. We will put an actual email address in there. What was the original name of the Google project? And it was Backrub. What are the colors that are found in the Google logo? It is all three primary colors and the color green. In which month did Google register their domain? That would be September. And how did the idea for Google start? It started as a thesis. And notice how these questions are in a different order from how we had entered them. And when I'm finished, I can click Submit. You'll see the confirmation page will come up with our message that we have for our confirmation page, as well as a link to submit another response if I wanted to. If I click this link, it will just go back to our form. While I'm here, I'm also going to go ahead and take this quiz as a student. This will give our quiz maker, Flubaroo, something to grade. So we will call the last name of the student, student. Their first name will be Sample. I'll also have to put in a real email address. The reason we have to do this is because we had the data validation tool. What is the name of the Google project? We will have this one get it wrong with foot rub. We can include the correct colors. Now for a student to get this right, they have to have all of the colors. This is an all or nothing type of question. In which month did Google register their domain? We can answer September for that. And how did the idea for the Google project start? Let's say it just started out of boredom. And then we'll hit Submit. And so we have one key and one answer ready to go. When I search for Google Quiz in my drive, you'll notice that there are two files that have the name. It has the form called Google Quiz. These are the quiz questions that you just created. And then Google also automatically creates a responses page using Sheets. Let's click on that page and see our result. On this sheet, you can see the results of the quiz. There's our key, and then there's also the sample student, which we created. It also has a timestamp. Right now, we are going to go ahead and grade our quiz using Flubaroo. Doing that, we'll have to install an add-on. I already have Flubaroo installed as an add-on, but to do this, go to Get Add-ons, select Flubaroo, and then it will ask you to allow them to do certain things to manage your information. When you have that installed, go ahead, go to the add-ons file, click Flubaroo, and we're going to say Grade Assignment. In step 1, you want to weight how many points each answer is worth. Notice last name, first name, and email. Flubaroo already identified that this is going to be student identifying information. We can assign each question point value of 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or we can also skip that question entirely. You would probably want to skip grading the question if it were something like a short answer or an essay response where you wanted to grade that on your own. Let's go on to step 2. Step 2 is you selecting the submission that we want to use as an answer key, and I've already labeled mine as key, so I will select this answer, and we can continue. Flubaroo will then grade the assignment for you, and it will let you know that you probably should not change any of the information that is inside this form. The reason is that Flubaroo has functions that really shouldn't be messed with. So let's take a look at our grades. You will notice that the tabs in the bottom of the Google Sheet are now labeled Student Submissions rather than Form Responses, and then it created a new tab, or a new sheet, called Grades, and this gives you the summary of all the grades. We can see that it graded one assignment. They got a total of 2 points, which is a 50%, and then it also showed how many points they got for each question. You'll also notice that Flubaroo automatically highlights answers where a large portion of the class got that answer wrong. In this case, since we only had one student, obviously getting that wrong is a large portion of our class. If you had students who took the quiz a little bit later, you may want to regrade the assignment, and you just go to the add-ons menu, Flubaroo, and you can regrade the assignment. We can also view a report of the assignment. Let's take a look at that. The grading report will show you a histogram of the grades, and will tell you how many points were scored for each one. You can email this to yourself. The other thing that you can do in Flubaroo is to automatically email the students their grades. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll email the grades out, and we would choose the email column as where we're going to email it to. We do want to include a list of the questions and the scores, and let's go ahead and include a key. We can also include a message. Here are your scores for the Google quiz, and we'll send out that email. Let's take a look at what that email looks like. You'll notice it has a student identifying information, the time they submitted it, and it will also show the answers that they got wrong, and we included the answer key so it gives the correct answer as well. And that is how you can create a self-grading quiz using Flubaroo, which is just one of the many uses for Google Forms.